also know across our country, folks face barriers that have been built up over the years by corporate interests and anti-union politicians and regressive court cases. I fought many of those cases when I was Attorney General of California, so we know the obstacles are there. California's in the house.
Yet the latest round of tax cuts comes as the economy is showing signs of stress and raising questions about timing. Even policy analysts told reporters times are good now, but if there's a downturn, what is the response? Will it be cutting spending or education? And if it's raising taxes, who will be impacted by this? Folks, the current proposals for taxes range from small reductions in state income tax rates to getting rid of the individual income tax altogether. Other states are examining more targeted measures, like exempting more retirement income from taxation, and it's a move that would benefit older residents, but potentially take away a revenue that could be used for younger families. Some of these proposals are simply ideas floated by lawmakers and governors that may face a long path to becoming law. In some states, the tax plans are further along, such as in North Dakota, where lawmakers are weighing a bill that would eliminate the individual income tax for single filers making $44,000 or less, and for married filers making $75,000 or less. Other states are focusing their tax cuts on specific groups, such as 10 states that last year created or expanded a child tax credit or earned income tax credit. It's geared toward low-income families. Even the Republican Senator Mitt Romney wants to increase the federal child tax credit payment to $3,000 for people between 6 and 17 years old, and $4,200 for children under 6. The proposal will cut other tax credits to pay for the expansion, including those for child health care costs. Both plans would offer parents the ability to receive the credit as a monthly payment, and Senator Marco Rubio's proposal would pay parents $3,600 for children 6 to 17 and $4,500 for children under 6, but it would not offer a monthly payment option. Vermont also took matters into their own hands after Congress failed to extend the expanded tax credits, and the Republican governor signed off on a $1,000 child tax credit for every child 5 and under. Families who claimed the credits would lose $20 for every $1,000 over the $125,000 they earn. Some states this year are focusing on older residents with tax reductions for retirement income, like Vermont, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. The Arkansas governor, a Republican, is also pledging to eliminate the state's individual income tax, although she said she will start with tax cuts. And according to local news, Governor Polis, a Democrat, is pushing for $200 million in property tax relief this year. It comes after voters last fall approved a cut that reduced the state's flat income from 4.4 to, and even Idaho, which last year lowered its personal and corporate tax rate and created tax rebate of $300, wants to provide. March 31st is an upcoming deadline that all eligible Americans need to take in action in order to receive an extra relief check. And the dozens of states across the country are implementing new stimulus plans, and payments range from $500 to even $1,000. Even the eligible Americans are set to receive direct payments worth up to $1,000 starting next week and beyond. That's because dozens of cities and states across the country have implemented guaranteed basic income programs to support residents through times of inflation and economic uncertainty. But the governor could give up to $500 to people who are paying taxes on their tax returns this year.
So I'm told by the Turkey Federation and Liberty and Bell, they love Honeycrisp apples. Not bad, huh? Ice hockey. I sure in hell would like to see them play ice hockey. 1,000 lakes and the Mall of America. Now, just to get here, Liberty and Bell had to beat some tough odds in competition.
Increased funding to the agency would help it more experienced auditors who can handle complicated tax filings. It could help the agency close the annual gap between what is owed and what is collected. The agency has said that it wants to help taxpayers get the deductions and tax credits they deserve. Right now, the focus is on providing eligible and educational materials that break down deductions in plain language. So hopefully people can get their stimulus cash. Folks, we have a lot of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, Ssdi and Ssdi. Continue watching this video because you don't want to miss out on this. For the vast majority of Social Security beneficiaries, their monthly check is vital to their financial well-being. After 20 years of annual polling, it is found that no less than 80% of retirees rely on their Social Security benefit in some capacity to meet their monthly expenses. But with the U.S. debt limit and ceiling deadline looming, more than 66 million beneficiaries are wondering whether the Social Security checks will be on the shopping block. The debt ceiling represents the authorized borrowing limit for the federal government. It's important to keep in mind that it doesn't include borrowing for new spending or projects. Rather, it's to cover the federal debt limit and existing financial obligations. At no point in America's history has the federal government defaulted on its legal financial obligations, which is why the current debt limit impasse between Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill was turning heads. The expectation prior to this week is that Treasury lawmakers had perhaps 2 or 3 months to agree on a bill that would raise, because the payments are just based on a number of things. People in different households, like your income payments, favor families, and if you're having a dependent, you'll get more money. Under the American Rescue Plan from Joe Biden, he signed into law. It did send out $1,400 per person, but this means that larger families are likely to get some bigger checks with people compared to the people who have no money at all. In Idaho, where IRS data showed that households enjoyed the second biggest average payout, at $2,300 a month for people with around 2.5 dependents. States with the smallest average per household payments are people in the Northeast, rounding at the bottom. That's around $2,000 a month of stimulus cash, everybody. And Massachusetts had also the biggest and second smallest payment at an average of $2,200 a month. Families in the Northeast tend to be smaller compared to those in many western mid-states, because those people have higher incomes and likely limited number of people eligible that are in for more stimulus cash. For instance, the last round of checks provided $1,400 to each single taxpayer, and now it's $2,800 if you're filing and making less than $150,000. Above those dollar thresholds, the payments taper off. The IRS announced that more than half of the payments have been sent to households making less than $50,000 a year. Households earning less than $10,000 received the greatest number of payments, with the tax agency sending more than 22 million checks to the income group. That's far more than expected. Back in September, though, the IRS announced it was attempt to contact the nearly 9 million low-income people, an important part of our fabric of our state, and help us continue functioning during this time. The Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry announced that applicants who chose direct deposit will see their checks within 10 days. However, you could see your payment within 3 to 4 weeks if you chose to receive the compensation via debit card. Applicants who applied should have received an email informing them if they were approved or denied for the one-time payment. And the temporary commissioner of the state's labor department said that the industry and the money is subject to federal income tax, but not the state income tax, and lower gas prices